Tracy, you have a phobia of frogs.
Yeah.
How long have you had that phobia?
I've had it since I was 11 now.
Which is how long?
I'm 45 now.
For 34 years?
Yeah, so
that's
it's
a long time.
That is a long
yeah,
time.
it's a really long time. Yeah.
And how does it affect you?
If it's raining, it's especially bad.
If it's raining?
Yeah, if it's raining, and it's this time of year until September, because like I know that they're going to be out. So yeah, if it's raining and it's dark especially, I can't go out. I just can't go out, even to open the back door and it's raining, to let the cats in.
So if it's raining and dark, you will not leave the house?
No, it is that bad.
Question.
Yeah.
What if you were out and then you came home and it was dark and raining?
If it was like that, I would ring somebody. If I was in the car especially, I'd ring somebody to come and get me out of the car and carry me into the house. Yeah.
Wow.
Let me just get my head around this. So you've gone out on a night out.
Yeah.
And it starts raining, and you ring someone to come and carry you physically carry you from the car.
I would do, yeah, because I'm that terrified. Yeah, it's impacting me that much. Yeah.
I guess that people think it's funny that know you.
They do, because I've had it for such a long time, so they torment me with their things. Yeah, they think it's hilarious, and I just really like to be able to get over it, because it's really impacting my life at the moment.
So if it's raining and it's dark, you can't leave your house?
No, it's that bad.
So it's like being in a prison. It's like a prison, and the frogs are the jailers.
Yeah, didn't look at it like that. Yeah.
Wow, this is really severe, isn't it? Have you got a garden?
Yes.
Do you go in your garden?
We've just moved house, and so we've got a new garden, and I did make sure before we moved that the neighbours didn't have any ponds or anything, because that was like a big concern of mine, because I was worried that if they've got ponds, obviously.
So here's an example. So let's say that the neighbours on either side had ponds. Would you have bought the house?
No, not at all.
Wow.
So it's affected even the house that you bought?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
So let's say you did go to somebody's house and they had a pond.
I wouldn't go anywhere near it. No, nowhere. It's that bad.
I mean, obviously, we've got a pond here, but I've assured you that there's only fish in it. There's only fish in it, there's no frogs. So let me ask you about some times in your life where you've had encounters and what happened and how you felt. Talk me through some of those.
When I was living with my mum and dad and I was at college and I'd come home late at night, they used to have a security light that used to look down the yard, and it was a big yard. Right. And if it was dark and raining and the security light would come on, you would see all the frogs down the yard, and it was so bad. I literally could not get out of the car because I was so terrified. I'd have to ring somebody from the car to come and pick me up, and they'd have to carry me from the car into the house. Yeah, that's how frightened I am of them.
And how does your husband react? Like, so you give him a call. I can't come in the house. I'm trapped because of frogs. Come and carry me. Like, how does he react?
He would, yeah. He would just come and do it now.
And
but
your parents as well, were they sort of also able to accommodate you?
They would get somebody to come and help me. Yeah.
So you needed like a rescue team
to come and get me. Yeah.
So surely, I mean, you must have had the situation where you've gone on a night out, you've come back, it's raining, you make the calls, and people go, "Well, I'm out. I'm not round." Well, what happens then?
I do a dance to the door. I'm like flapping, and I get my torch on my phone and just check before I get out the car, or put my headlights on so I can see what's in front of me.
It sounded to me like a scene from like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Kind of jumping in and out.
Well, he doesn't like the change, yeah. Wow.
And the neighbours can hear me screaming because like I'm literally jumping about. It's awful.
Golly.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got kids, and then I'm guessing when they were little, you maybe like want to take them to the zoo or something like that. Could you do that? And then what about reptile houses? How would that go?
I would be all right in reptile houses. If there was like a little stream or something through it, I wouldn't go. I'd ask. Do you know what I mean? Before I went into the reptile house, have you got any stream bits in there? Is there any frogs in there? Yeah, but yeah, I'd be all right as long as there was no streams or frogs. Yeah.
So you'd actually kind of check in advance.
Yeah, just to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so 34 years we've established, so a very, very long time. So if you could get over this today, like, how would it change your life?
It'd be amazing. Honestly, it'd be absolutely amazing. Just to be able to go out and not have to constantly be looking around me, especially when it's been raining. I'm all right, a lot better in the drier weather. But just to be able to go out, do you know what I mean, into like gardens and sit near the ponds and just have, like, you know, with the kids and that, it'd be fantastic.
So I'm guessing, because I know that when someone has a phobia, you kind of have to adapt your life, which
which everybody's done as well around me. Yeah.
So, no one's born with a phobia.
No.
When do you think this started?
When I was 11.
Okay.
I can remember it vividly. That was my next door neighbour, a lad a few years older than me. I can remember that he'd got lots of baby frogs in his hand and he thought it was hilarious to chase me around the garden with them.
Like more than one?
I think he had about 5 or 6 in his hand, and that's literally where it started from.
And what was he doing, just running around?
He was just running around, and of course I started to scream and get really like panicky, and he thought it was really funny, so he was doing it more and more and more, and that is literally where it started, because I was absolutely petrified. And it's been since that moment.
I can ask you, when you said you remember it vividly, so and to recall any memory, we see it in our mind's eye and we play it like a movie. When you do that, just to give me an idea how bad that is, if you would scale it 0 to 10, 10 being Nick, I feel so bad, and 0 being I'm not bothered.
It was a 10. It was a 10. I felt physically sick. I was screaming. I was sweating. I was trying to run away.
Had he shown you them over the wall or the fence?
Yes.
Whatever? Would that be okay?
No, because I can remember him just going like that over the wall, and I could feel the panic because I could see that he was trying to torment me, you know, and taunt me with it.
Have you ever been tormented or taunted with anything else before?
I can't recall anything. No, I can't recall. It's just that incident.
Can I ask you, tell me more about the neighbour then?
Yeah.
Had he taunted you with anything before?
Yeah, because thinking about it, yeah, because he was a few years older than me.
Okay.
He used to like to wind me up. Do you know what I mean? Throw water bombs at me. Do you know what I mean? Chase me. So yeah, I suppose he had.
Right.
Yeah.
Seeing the neighbour, there's an expectation that
something's going to happen. I knew something was going to happen. He was always up to mischief. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And it was always directed at me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You say he's a few years older.
A few years older.
How old?
Yeah, he would have been about 13. Yeah,
right.
at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any encounter with him, you knew something was going to happen?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, what we want to cure you today, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. So to be able to do that, we need to give you some tests.
Okay.
Because one thing that we know is that if we can show you some tests now, and you can score them out of 10 for us, 10 being the worst, 0 being I'm not feeling it all, and then we can work with you and then show you the same tests and you feel different.
Okay.
What would that mean to you?
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got some tests.
Okay.
Well, I've got a little one here,
Yeah.
and it just out of interest, would this little fella bother you at all?
No, that's okay.
So
Yeah.
that's a toy.
Yeah, that's a toy. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's fine. Oh.
So that's an 8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let me show you something. I've got stage 2 here.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So we've now got a stage 3.
Okay.
How would you feel about seeing from a distance a little frog?
From a distance.
Look, as much or as little as you want.
Yeah.
But the reason why we want to do that is we want you to have a before and after.
Okay.
Right? Because what we don't want is for you to leave here today and say, I'm cured, I'm fine, and then see a frog and not be. Right? So we want you to have the full experience.
Okay.
So that you know categorically it's done.
I'd like that. Yeah.
Tracy, are you ready to see a real frog? This is the last test.
Not really, but yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
At any point, if you want to stop, just say no more.
Okay.
Well, we've got Craig, our animal handler, bringing.
So
That's enough.
can you see it in the bowl?
Yep. It's right at the front.
It actually is.
Yeah.
It's even smiling, I'd say.
Give me a score out of 10, 10 being the worst.
I'm on 8 now.
8. Is there any way you could come a bit closer? Do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I can't see that frog.
Okay.
You've got better eyes than I have.
It could get out the top. That's what I'm worried about. I'd be all right if there was something over the top, so I knew he couldn't jump at me.
My hand is safer than the top.
Oh God! No!
And again, my hand stopped it.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think are the chances of later you holding that frog?
0.
Okay. Okay, we will take that challenge then.
Okay.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Craig.
Bye.
Well, Tracy, that was a reaction. We've seen enough. We understand. You've definitely got a phobia of frogs. Let's get you over this now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can I ask, just before we start the therapy, can I ask you, have you had any other phobias?
Yes.
What?
Birds.
Birds?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you still got fear of birds, or are you okay?
No fear of birds no more. No.
Okay. And one thing with birds, and this is really interesting, if you think about your fear of birds, what was the problem with the birds?
I was terrified of them, and I thought there was going to
Because what did they used to do?
peck.
You've got a fear of birds. Most people who have a fear, or a lot of people have a fear of birds. It starts Trafalgar Square.
Yeah, that's where mine started.
Did it
That's
really?
where mine started.
So tell me what happened.
Yeah, when I think I was with brownies or
Yeah.
guides or something around that time, and we all went to Trafalgar Square for a trip, and all the pigeons used to just swarm, didn't they, and just land all over you.
And do what?
Poo on you and peck you, and they just used to flap in your face, and that's a bit like the same with yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what did they do? What was the bit that were interesting?
Flap.
Right. You were 6 or 7, Trafalgar Square, pigeons flapping in your face, you end up with a bird phobia. How did you overcome that?
I got some chickens.
You had a bird phobia?
Yes.
What made you do that?
Because they're quite a large bird, and they was very much more like cats, believe it or not. Not
really?
Yeah.
That's someone trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
You know, when you have a phobia, you sell to yourself, well, I can't do that. You give yourself all these excuses as to why you should keep it.
Yeah.
And then when you actually really want something in life, you give yourself excuses as to why you should have it. Right.
Yep.
So, very interesting thing. Right. Well, that is very relevant.
Before we start, I've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
If I was to ask you to tell me some qualities, what qualities does Tracy have?
I like to think that I'm kind.
Yeah.
But
I bet you I would agree with
Kind.
I like to think I'd do anything for anybody.
So you're helpful.
I'd like to think so. Good. Well, I hope I'm a good listener.
So you're understanding, would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Are you fair, or what's your thoughts on being fair, non-judgmental?
I'm very non-judgmental.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So a good person already.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
Would you say that you're an animal lover?
Yes.
Lovely.
Okay. We've got everything we need. Are you ready for us to start the therapy?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Start the clock. The phobia.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
So this is a learning, and it's a flawed learning, because ultimately, you know as an adult that frogs aren't dangerous, they're not going to hurt you. And they're a lot smaller than you, and essentially they just want to get away from you.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Good.
Right. So when we are put in a frightening situation and we feel like, if we just have one thought, we think, I might not escape this, or I might die, something where we feel trapped. In that moment, our brain goes into overdrive to protect us. And whatever it can see, it will then blame. Because it wants to protect you, to make sure it doesn't happen again. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
right.
It does.
So, I can see a course of events here. The first thing is, you're in Trafalgar Square, the pigeons are around you, and you've got all the flapping. So now you're being, I don't like this, I don't want to be in this situation. So now you've got an aversion to anything that's flapping.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
And you know that led to a bird phobia, but you managed to overcome that, which is brilliant. Flapping's a problem. So then you told us about the time where you would go down to the beck. And you're down in the beck and you're having loads of fun, and then you see the boys fishing, and they're not treating the fish very well, and it's not nice. And when the fish, I mean, ultimately, fish belong in water. You take them out of water, they start flapping. And your brain goes, that's like, and it takes you right back to the pigeons, right? So now, it was pigeons, it was birds, now it's fish as well, because that flapping means danger, and I don't like that.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Got it. Right. So that happens, and then we move in time a bit.
We've got the...
No, we're moving time a bit, and then you're at home, and the cat brings one of your dad's fish in, right? And you told me you're an animal lover. You love all animals, and the cat's brought the fish, and the fish is on the floor, and it's struggling. And inside, I know you want to go and help that fish. You want to go and help it, but it's flapping, right? And you can't because it's flapping, and you're terrified.
Yeah.
So you can't help it, and it dies, which is so bad because it doesn't sit right with you, but you couldn't do anything about it. And then, so it's there and it's bubbling away, and then your neighbour, Kevin, yes. So Kevin then knows that he can wind you up, because the thing with Kevin, you see, so at this point now it's just flapping, but Kevin, right, you never knew where you stood with him, and the thing with that was that he could throw water balloons at you, he could do things, and you knew he was always going to do something, right? So you're always on your guard. You're always aware that, right, what's he going to do today? There's something going to happen. Yeah. And then on this day, he's got something in his hands, and you see that it's frogs, and he chases you. But the frogs aren't chasing you, are they?
No.
What are the frogs doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Who's chasing you? Who's frightening you?
Kevin.
Who should you have a phobia to?
Kevin.
What do the frogs do?
Nothing.
What did she say?
She said no. And in that moment, who was the most terrified, you think?
Maybe the frog.
Yeah. You said he had lots of baby frogs in his hands. They didn't want to be in his hands.
They've been snatched by the mother from some giants. They have no clue what's going on. And they're being held against their will, having been taken away from their mother.
And that's no different to when the boys were fishing and they had the fish. It's the same thing. You didn't like it with the fish, you didn't like it with the frogs.
Didn't think about it like that.
But the boys at school caused a problem with the fish. And Kevin, your next door neighbour, caused a problem with the frogs. Why would you victimise frogs? What has a frog ever done to you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
At all.
And you're an animal lover.
Yeah.
You can't say, Nik and Eva, I love animals, except frogs. You can't do that. You either love animals or you don't.
That's being two-faced. And also, I'd just like to ask you a question. If somebody had your arms and legs tied together and were holding you, what would you do?
I'd be screaming, trying to get away.
Would you be flapping?
I'd be flapping too.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does flapping mean?
Like the frog was scared, or the fish was scared.
Absolutely. When Craig brought us a frog before and it was trying to jump, what do you think he wanted to do?
Just get away.
Yeah,
Of course it
why?
did.
Yeah, because it was scared.
Absolutely.
Right.
If I was to hold one of your cats, if I was holding Fudge or Hamish really tight, what would they do?
Try to get away and be squirming and flapping.
Get away.
Yeah.
You told us that when you were 7 or 8 that you were in some quicksand. What helped you to get out?
Kind of flapping.
Absolutely you were. See, all these things, flapping is them saying, please, please leave me alone. I'm absolutely petrified. They're called help.
I see it a bit differently now. Yeah.
And who scared you in that moment when you were 11?
I want the frog.
When has a frog or a fish or a bird ever come and attacked you?
Never.
Your family, your loved ones?
Never.
Do you love your children?
Yeah.
Would you let them be around frogs, fish, birds?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's nothing to be scared of.
Right. And just going back to, you said frogs are slimy, but let's think about it, right? Birds need feathers so they can fly. Frogs, if you think of someone, you know, a human being going in the water, what do? They put on a wetsuit, which is like a frog suit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's the best thing for water, because the water runs off you. You can't blame them for that.
No.
Thing that protects them. See, you said that you were kind, understanding, and non-judgmental.
Can you believe it? Not judgmental. I've never, honestly.
Most of all, non-judgmental.
And she was quite firm with that.
That's a lie then, isn't it? Because
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Once you've got facts in front of you, and you realise that actually, if I'm really honest with you, in all the situations you've discussed, the frogs and the fish were the victims. And once you see what it is and not how it felt to a little girl, you can actually realise that frogs and fish have never done anything to you, never been a danger to you, that just because their skin is different to ours, I mean, you know, don't want to be harsh here, but that's like because they've got a wet, slimy skin, and looking at their skin and using that's like being racist. You know, it's like pinpointing a species for having done nothing.
that makes sense.
But I would point out, Tracy, that in actual fact, because you're only young, you weren't frightened about what they were doing to you. You were frightened about what was happening to them. That's the issue. You were frightened about what's happening to them and you felt helpless. Which is a word that you used.
Yeah, I did.
You felt helpless about what was happening to them. Well, I think that you owe them an apology. And I can tell that you're looking at this totally different now.
I do feel a bit different.
Well, you see
yeah.
As an adult and not a child, basically. You're now realising that, because, you know, we've not known you very long. We've only just met you today. But you are fair, you are kind. We have chatted, and I do know that you've got really good values. And this doesn't fit with you at all. Because you were being judgmental unfairly of something that had never done anything to you.
Never hurt me.
And we know you can change your mind on things because you're frightened of birds and now you've got rescue chickens, right?
Yeah.
Let me show you some frogs. You felt sorry for them because you couldn't do anything. That's what it was.
It's quite sweet, really.
I didn't realise that it was like that.
Yeah. You misunderstood, really. What I love is that she's got coordinating frogs with nail varnish.
I love it.
Just saying.
That's crazy.
Cute, really, isn't it?
That's just crazy. I'm gonna cry. I feel so. Oh. That's not. It don't even bother me. That's not right. I've been terrified like all these years, and you said no. No. I can't even watch that before. Like, even that's not bothering me, and that used to be like, you know, when they did that, that used to be one of the things that used to really bother me. No. No.
You really are non-judgmental and kind after all.
I can't believe it. That's just not right. Oh, I just need to hug you, Bob. I don't know if I got to the frog yet, but that's crazy. I'm just gonna feel like I'm gonna cry.
Cry. Get it out.
Honestly. Oh, God.
Stop the clock. Tracy, so you've seen these.
Yeah.
How do you feel about seeing a frog? Just so you can apologise.
I feel alright. I know. I can't believe I'm even saying that. I feel alright.
It's even making me giggle.
Craig?
Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. Yeah.
Do you want to come straight
Yeah, if you leave your hands, and I feel all right. Yeah, I feel
Come on
fine.
in then.
Just have a look at it. You'll keep us on there just so you see, because obviously for the frog's sake as well, we don't want it to jump out because it'd hurt itself. But it's just a living creature.
It's having the best.
But it just like you, just like your children, just like your cats, just like.
Can we move closer?
I've never, ever, ever been this close.
And you know what? You would have to force yourself upon a frog, actually, to be this close, not the other way around. That's the irony. That they don't even want anything to. They don't even acknowledge you.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Oh.
A bit closer.
I'm only going to take my hand off only because you're taking my hand.
Yeah.
It won't do anything.
It's not going to jump out.
No.
See, it's a little, just a fraction, but.
And do you know what the point is? Even if it jumps, it's a frog. It's what they do.
Yeah, and I know it's
so
not
it's cool
gonna.
to see it jump as well.
I know it's not gonna hurt me.
No.
Never.
I'm gonna scare it more than it's gonna.
How amazing
scare
is
me.
that?
I can't believe.
How is this going to change your life?
Huge, immensely. I can't even believe that you've done that within that short space of time to get me this close to this frog. It's just crazy. Honestly, thank you so much.
Oh my God, it's a pleasure, honestly.
I can't thank you enough. I really can't.
Honestly, we're so happy because all animals should be loved and respected and not feared. Because they, to be honest, an animal never.
Yeah.
They don't have any animosity. They're not evil. They're not wicked. They never want to hurt anyone. They just want to get on with their own life and be left alone.
But Tracy, because we are the Speakmans, we always like to take things to another level. So we've got a surprise for you.
Slightly bigger one.
We've got one of the biggest frogs that you can ever see.
Right.
Probably as big as your chicken.
Is it?
I'd say so.
How would you like to see that?
Okay.
It's one of the biggest frogs on the planet.
Okay.
That's how cool.
Okay. Cute.
Can you come closer?
Yeah, a little bit. Because he's quite low.
You're seeing something most people that even love frogs never get to see. So again, an utter privilege.
Oh, he's lovely. And he's got lovely little feet. Or what?
His little pads,
Pads,
his tippy
yeah.
tappers, we call them.
Is that what they're called? Tippy
No,
tappers?
I just call them tippy tappers.
So Craig, can we touch him?
Yes.
Well, we've got to wet our
Yeah,
hands
just wet
first.
your hands, yeah. Need nice wet hands.
Okay. It's quite tough.
Oh, is it like a handbag?
Honestly.
No.
Oh no, it's not.
No.
It's not what you think, honestly.
I can't believe it.
I'll face him this way.
Oh,
What do you think?
I didn't expect him to feel like that. So it doesn't feel slimy even.
No, there's only one final question, I guess. And that is, are you cute?
I'm curious.